All right, Nate, here we are in the beautiful McBryde Garden and on our Reading Palms Trail. This is a portion of the self-guided tour of McBryde that we offer. Once we drop our guests off, how do we orient them to get through the self-guided tour here of McBryde?
Well, our tour guides do orient the guests, and they also provide them with a beautiful brochure which itemizes different sections of the garden on a smaller scale. Within the brochure there's a map, and the guide will itemize the overall map of McBryde as well to make their journey through this garden as easy as possible.
So the Reading Palms Trail is going to be on that map, and there'll be highlighted pictures and descriptions of certain plants that our guests can come and find.
Indeed.
All right, so why don't we take a walk and we'll go see if we can find some of those.
Sounds good. Now, the palm family is comprised of approximately 2,500 species and 190 genera, and it's a very diverse family, and it is a flowering family. So those palms are flowering plants. And what's kind of interesting about palms is that within the order of flowering plants, angiosperms, there's a division known as monocots and dicots. Now, dicots are basically oak trees, maples, or what we know here as a monkey pod tree. And monocots are built differently, and those monocots are comprised of grasses, gingers, and palms. So what is kind of interesting is that palms are built more like a grass versus an oak tree. And we're underneath another beautiful and rather rare palm here. This is known botanically as Pelagodoxa henriana. Also, the common name is Vahenna palm, and this is from the Marquesas Islands. It's a very sought-after palm. There was a time period where this was extraordinarily rare in its habitat, and no botanical gardens had this palm. And that wasn't too many years ago. But these days it's doing a lot better thanks to our field biologists bringing this palm to our garden. And now we've been able to disperse it to other botanical gardens to ensure its safety and cultivation.
So all part of our conservation program.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, good.
Also, Walt, along this walk, the guests will be provided examples of what are known as epiphytic plants. So we're here next to an epiphytic plant. This, to my left here, is known as a staghorn fern, and there are many different species of staghorns, a pretty common houseplant these days. And when I say an epiphytic plant, it is a plant that grows in another plant, or maybe on rocks, you know. Epiphytic plants are, say, ferns, orchids, cacti, bromeliads, and they're not parasites whatsoever. So this staghorn is not deriving any nutrients from this mature monkey pod tree whatsoever. All nutrients are driven from air, water, botanical material that may fall on them.
So this particular plant was placed on the tree here?
By our staff.
By our
indeed.
staff, and on display just as it is?
Yes, and this is how it would perform in its native habitat, and that's how we have it displayed here.
Awesome.
A lot of people these days are into plants known as cycads, and there's a beautiful example of a cycad off to our right-hand side here. And cycads, even though by appearance they look palm-like, they're actually a conifer, essentially. Basically, cycads are the precursor to modern-day conifers. And the closest family member to this cycad is technically a pine tree.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
And then aren't these some of the oldest plants in history?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they have survived through all the different ice ages. You know, they were one of the main diets of the dinosaurs. Actually.
There you go. That's why it was always known as dino food.
Yes, you can refer to it as that.